video is brought to you by AKSIAS.
Hello students, today we have with us Yaswanth Kumar Reddy. He has ranked 93 in UPSC CSE 2020 and he's already into AP government job. That is, he's cracked Group 1 at a very young age of 22 years in his very first attempt, and UPSC he cracked it in the second attempt. His strategy for UPSC is also very simple, precise and consistent. He was consistent in his preparation and he stuck to whatever his strategy was, and that is what got him success. So he'd be sharing a few inputs on how he started preparing for UPSC, his basic orientation towards UPSC preparation. Thereafter, you can ask some questions, whatever doubts that you have regarding the preparation. Make it interactive rather than a monologue. Okay? Over to Yashwanth.
Good morning, everyone. Sir, I think we should go with English, right? Telugu andariki vastunda? Anybody who doesn't know Telugu? Yeah, okay. As Sir said, my name is Yaswanth. I have got 93rd rank this time in 2020. Sir said that although I got 93, I attempted again, but it was a compulsion because everybody would be aiming for IAS. So we will feel that our journey of UPSC has come to an end only when we reach that goal. So if there are chances, every one of us will try that. So it's not a big thing. And yeah, I will just give a brief introduction about myself so that you will be able to ask suitable questions from me. And after that, I will just share my strategy in brief, what I have followed in the preparation. After that, you people can ask any kind of questions like relating to exam or any other thing also. Yeah, I passed out from my graduation in 2016 July or something like that. So I have joined Indian Oil Corporation Limited after graduation. There I got a bit of leisure time, so I thought I had this dream of UPSC from childhood days, but I was not very confident of myself. I was like, all of us will be having that thing, right? So we are unsure whether we will be able to crack this or not, because there is a lot of competition, lot of buzz going around. People will be telling that you need to study 14 hours, 15 hours a day. So we will be very unsure of ourselves, whether we will be able to crack this or not. So I was also in the similar stage. So after getting into a comfortable kind of job, I thought, let us try. So around 2016, November, December, I have started preparation. I started with NCERTs. I have studied in Jawaharlal Vidyalaya, my 6th to 10th. So we read CBSE syllabus over there. So reading NCERTs was a bit easy for me. After NCERTs, I started with the standard reference books. And that standard reference books are mostly the same. Most of the toppers have already told about them in their blogs and videos. So I have followed the same standard books. So while I was in that process, luckily Group 1 notification was given by AP government. So I just thought I will test how much I have read till now, or like whether we will be able to perform or not. So I have given both Group 1 and Group 2 examination of APPSC. I have fortunately cleared both of them prelims, but mains I have given only Group 1 mains. And because of various issues like delay in 2011 notification, etc., the competition was a bit very less in our attempt 2016 when we gave mains. So multiple factors have worked out. Sir said that I cracked it at a very young age and all. That doesn't matter at all. Don't take pressure from that. So multiple factors worked out for me at that point of time. That is what I am trying to say. So I got 3rd rank in Group 1. There was very less competition, I agree that. And multiple factors have worked out and I got 3rd rank. So after that I joined as commercial tax officer. So after joining as commercial tax officer in around 2018 July or June, I have dedicatedly started preparing for UPSC. Till that time I haven't even decided on my optional. So I had this feeling that I am good in mathematics by seeing my marks in 10th, intermediate and graduation. So it seemed like a default choice for me for optional. That is the first mistake I have made in UPSC journey. I have spent around good 2.5 to 2 months preparing mathematics optional. So after spending that much time, I came to know that I will not be able to continue preparing maths. So one thing is the syllabus is a bit bulky, and doing job I will not be able to accommodate coaching also. And I thought somewhere I will not be able to complete that paper within the limited amount of time. Although I will be able to complete the question, I will not be able to do that in the limited amount of time. So I had to shift my optional to anthropology. So like after shifting to anthropology, because of the time constraints and all, I was a bit, I have rushed the preparation a bit. So my first attempt in UPSC I gave in 2019. So by that time I had a notes of anthropology, but with that I wouldn't have been able to clear UPSC. I am very clear with that. And I had some GS notes by that time. So the second mistake that I have did in my 2019 preparation, because of which I was not able to clear prelims, is that I have underestimated the exam a bit because of maybe my earlier experiences with other examinations, etc. So the number of practice tests, the mock tests for prelims which I have given are a bit less. That have impacted me significantly. And the second and the third mistake which I have did during 2019 is that I was not honest with myself. So while writing prelims test series and all, so we will be having some 5 to 10 questions where we will be having doubt, right, in 2 options or 3 options. So what I used to do is by the time of completion of exam, I didn't use it to mark the final answer. So after seeing the key, I just used to think that, oh, I'll also mark the same thing. So I have got a sense of false satisfaction or false confidence. I will be able to clear prelims. Although at the back of my mind, I know that this is not going to work. I don't know for what reason I went with that thing. So because of these two things, my 2019 attempt has stopped with prelims itself. I fell short by around 2.36 or some marks. So just one question. So if I have changed some of my preparation strategy, maybe I would have cleared 2019 prelims itself. So after my first failure in UPSC, what I realized is a failure in UPSC is the best thing which we can get. That too, if we get it at early stages, it is more better. So I have started assessing myself, what are all the things I have did till now. So I went back to the previous year toppers videos, their blogs, etc. to reassess my preparation, like whether I am going on the right path or not. So there I found that there are multiple flaws in my preparation. First thing is that my optional notes is not at all good. So what I did is I rewrote my entire optional notes. It took around 2 months of time, but that is one of the best things I have done during my preparation. So what I am trying to tell is, if you feel that you have did something wrong, or there are better ways to do anything, don't just burden yourself doing the same thing just because you have did that till now. It is never late to restart your preparation, reorient your preparation, or make changes. But when you are making that, make sure that you won't regret it again. So in my 2020 attempt, I have tried to overcome all the mistakes which I have did in my 2019 attempt. I have given around 50 to 60 number of mocks, full length tests of multiple institutes. So I got good confidence about prelims. After that, I remade my notes for anthropology, and in GS also I have the static part I have made notes earlier, but the most of the questions in mains, it would be from dynamic part, the current affairs of last 2 to 3 years. So what I did is it took around 2 to 3 months of time. I have remade the mains notes also again. So like it was like starting preparation from zero again after my first failure. So that has helped me very much, and that because of the delays because of COVID and all, that time has helped me. So luckily I was able to clear prelims with comfortable margin, and mains also I got good marks. In personality test, I thought I gave it very well, but the marks were a bit less. But mains, I got more marks than what I have expected. So this is what UPSC is all about, unpredictability. So we might think that we are very strong in GS1 or GS2 or anything, but UPSC is the final judge. So don't, apart from trying to building your strengths, try to average out your weaknesses also. Don't leave any particular part of UPSC or any particular part of the syllabus without preparation. Make sure that we are at least average or above average in all the topics of the syllabus. So with this introduction, I will just tell how I have prepared for prelims, mains and personality test. After that, you people can ask any questions. So firstly, prelims, in these days, the paper is becoming more and more unpredictable. So what matters at the end of the day is how we are able to perform in that 2 hours of the examination. So the preparation for prelims, everybody would be doing the same thing, same number of books, same books, NCERT, standard textbooks, etc. After that, please write as many number of mocks as possible. It doesn't matter which institute, make sure that the key is right. Key is somewhat right. So give around 40 to 50 mocks at least if possible if you are giving the earlier attempts. So why I am stressing on these mocks is, like in mock test, we will be able to know more about myself. While giving mocks, I came to know that my accuracy level is a bit very low. We do the prelims paper in iterations, right? The first iteration, the questions we are very sure of. The second iteration where we are not very sure of, or like 50-50 probability kind of questions. And the third iteration, the questions which we are not at all sure of, but we have to attempt because we need to pass. So 3 iterations. So my accuracy in the first round of questions where I am very sure of was also around 70 to 75%. So I was able to clear that margin of 100 or 105 marks only when I was attempting 90 to 95 questions. So I made a rule that I need to attempt that many number of questions irrespective of the difficulty of the paper. So this thing is very personal. So you people, while writing mocks, you will come to know these kind of things, where you are lagging and which topics you are strong, which topics you are not able to identify, which kind of questions you are making silly mistakes. So from these learnings, you need to build upon the experience so that your UPSC prelims becomes a bit easy. And one more thing is don't burden yourself with expectations in prelims examination. Just have a calm, cool mind. Everybody says that you need to have a calm, cool mind, but it is almost impossible because our entire future is at stake of 2 hours. So everybody will be feeling that jitters, that rush in brain, etc. Let it go on the one side of the brain, but the other side of the brain, try to concentrate on the examination. Take one question at a time. In 2019 attempt, what happened is, in my question paper set, history was there among the first set of questions. So first 15 or 20 questions were history. These days history is becoming more and more difficult and unpredictable. So I think I lost my 2019 game within the first 10 to 15 minutes itself, after seeing the history questions. And in 2020 attempt, my paper started with polity, I think. It was a bit easy. So luck was on my side in 2020. But make sure that if you are comfortable in some topic or some subject, if possible, start your prelims paper from that topic itself. These days they are not mixing questions. All the questions from a particular subject they are asking simultaneously. So that is a bit easy. Make sure that your performance in the first 5 or 10 minutes, that doesn't bog you down, because it doesn't matter which questions you are attempting. At the end of the day, what we need is around 65 to 66 correct answers if we are attempting 90 to 95 questions. That is more than enough. And treat every question equally. Every question gives us the same marks, right? What happens is, few questions we might have a slight idea or we might have read about them earlier. So we waste large amount of time on such questions because we feel that those questions are low hanging fruits. What happens is, because of this, we might leave out many easy questions which other people are attempting. So one more thing, what happens is, after seeing the paper, we feel that it is very difficult. So if after devoting some quality amount of time, 1.5 to 2 years for preparation, if you are feeling that the paper is difficult, then around 95 to 96% of other aspirants, co-aspirants who are writing, they will also feel the same. So leave about the difficult questions. Just make sure that we are not making mistakes in the easy ones, and try to maximize the number of positives we are getting in the moderate ones. That is more than enough. Even if you see the 2021 paper also, leaving all the unpredictable questions from sports, etc., and difficult questions in history, there are good number of questions in polity and economy which we can solve with our basic knowledge. So make sure that you don't miss out on those questions. So like prelims is totally a game of that 2 hours where we write the exam. Don't judge yourself while writing the exam. So like after that 2 hours, we have a lot of time to judge ourselves, assess the performance, etc. But those 2 hours, just try to focus on questions, each question separately, treat each question as a new war. And after prelims, mainly CSAT paper 2, that is also has become a kind of decider these days. So the difficulty of quant and English is also increasing. So don't neglect that. Try to practice as many previous year question papers as possible, because the kind of English passages UPSC is asking, it is very different from the kind of passages we used to see in CAT or our earlier examinations. So make sure that we are adapted to that kind of questions. So after that, my mains preparation was like, for static part which is there in the syllabus, I made notes from reference books, standard reference books and websites or other material which are referred by multiple previous toppers. I just used to Google GS1 sources. The first 10 to 15 links, I used to go through all of them. Whatever is common among all those links, I used to follow them. And one more thing is, if you are not feeling comfortable about any source, if let it be suggested by some n number of toppers, it doesn't matter. Ultimately, UPSC provides us a chance of creating our own journey to success. So make sure that you are not just blindly following what others are telling. Just take good things from them, adapt to yourself, but have that decision making with yourself. Only if you are comfortable with any source, go with that. If you are not comfortable, don't go with that. Just our own satisfaction, our own comfort while preparation, that is more important rather than what other toppers or other people have suggested. That is one thing. So another thing, what different I have made, I have did during 2020 attempt was that I took around last 3 to 4 years of mains booklets of coaching institutes, and I made notes from that mains booklet. So like most of the questions that are being asked in the mains are from this year's current affairs or some way linked to the last 2 or 3 years current affairs. And what happens in those mains booklet is, they will give content in the form of introduction, body, conclusion, and in the body also they will use lot of statistics, examples, case studies, etc., which we can directly reproduce in the examination. So I did this thing. I went through last 3 to 4 years of mains booklets, and I made notes for GS1, 2, 3. And ethics, I have followed DK Balaji's book. It is very good. I mean, it is very comprehensive, and the examples and are also like very simple, which are taken from the I mean bureaucrats which we are seeing these days, or real life examples, etc. So like it is very simple to read. I have earlier read other books like lexicon, etc., but I felt that it is a bit difficult to understand or to retain the content. So DK Balaji's book was very good. For essay, what I did is, I went through the previous year question papers of essay. You will find that most of the topics are repeated, like women empowerment or economy or social welfare versus economic development, environmental issues, etc. So on those issues, try to have some static content. Like take some 1.5 hour of time and think yourself, if you get this question in essay, what will you write? Like introduction, how you will start. Like there are multiple ways of starting an introduction, by an anecdote, or by quoting some report, or by taking some real life story example which has happened recently, or by starting from any quotation, etc. So just try out various ways in which you can start an essay, and try to have that content for at least 10 to 15 topics which are being repeated. And this might not be very useful in the kind of essay papers that UPSC is giving these days, because most of the essays have become philosophical kind of thing. So but your static preparation will never go in vain. They will be useful at least in your GS2 or GS3. The kind of statistics or the kind of quotations you gather, you can use them in GS also. So this doesn't go waste. So after that, these philosophical essay, I think we need to practice a lot on them. Whatever the term they are asking us to explain about, try to introduce that with any story, relevant story or relevant recent happening or anecdote. For example, I will give you an example. In 2020 attempt, there was one question. Life is a long journey from being human to becoming humane. So how I started is on some Monday morning on a busy road in so-and-so city, one person has accidentally fell off from his bike. He is bleeding profusely. Many people are just passing by, but one so-and-so person has got down from his car and he has called 108 and made sure that this person is admitted to the hospital immediately. All the people who are passing by are just human, but only this person who has come forward to help him, he is a humane person. So introduction provides us a chance to portray that we have understood what they are trying to ask. So that will give a lot of edge. And these anecdotes or stories are a kind of easy medium in which we can make sure that the examiner understands that we have got the demand of the question. So after that, the second para, just let it be a kind of thesis statement. Like you would write that in this essay we would be dealing with so and so topics. Like what is the importance of being humane? What are the characteristics of a humane person? What are the impediments in becoming a humane person? And how we can become humane. So like these are, I mean, the subheadings what you people are going to use in the essay, just mention those in the thesis statement. So the examiner knows what to expect from your whole essay. So after that, just try to go with the flow. Make sure that the flow is organic. Don't overburden yourself by telling that we need to put so and so philosophical thoughts. I mean, don't overdo anything. Just keep it very simple. Yeah, that's it for essay. And one thing that I have did for mains is like we would be having some 20 questions in mains. So many less people would know all those 20 questions. So after preparation, we would be able to answer some 14 to 15 questions comfortably. In the remaining 3 or 4, we would be having some slight idea. 1 or 2 questions we would not be totally unaware of. But what I tried last time is, I tried to devote equal amount of time to all the questions. It doesn't matter whether I know the question or don't know the question. Like most of the questions, if you see, if we are not having perfect stock points also, we will be having some kind of relevant information. Like studied in prelim stage or any stage, we will be having some amount of information. May not be directly suitable to that question. Try to adapt the information that we have in that question. Don't be too vague, that will not give you marks, but don't leave the question entirely. Because what I have observed is, in UPSC, the efforts that are needed to produce a best answer from good answer are too large than the efforts that are needed for an under average answer, below average answer. Even below average answer would fetch us some good 1.5 to 2 marks. The difference between good answer and best answer also would be around some 1 to 1.5 marks. So rather than focusing on producing best answers, make sure that our focus is on producing good, average or above average answers for all the 20 questions. That's what I have did in all the 4 GS papers. I have attempted all the 80 questions, and I think I wouldn't have got some more than 3 to 4 best answers. all my answers were average, below average or above average. But at the end of the day, I got very good marks in GS. I got around 420 if I remember correctly. I got good number. So like don't run after best answers. Generally, even I had this thought that if we need to get marks in the examination, then we need to have a differentiating factor. So we need to write something special which separates us from all others. So we all have this burden on us. So I thought, I mean, in my personal experience, I felt that this bogs us down in the examination, because we are not machines, we are not robots, we are humans. So we will not be able to produce these exceptional points in each question in the examination. So we will start judging ourselves in the examination itself, and that is half game lost. So just keep the process very simple. Write what you know. Try to make the answer good, average or above average. Don't run after the best ones. You don't need to be the best one in the hall to get good marks. I mean, if your all answers are average or above average, that is more than enough. And while writing answers, one thing that I have got to know from one of my senior is introductions. Most of us, what we do is we will try to give a plain introduction, like defining what is asked in the question or something like that. Rather than that, start with any recent happening. Like if UPSC is asking some question in mains, in 70 to 75% of the cases, there would be some recent happening linked to that. So try to start your answer with that thing, or some statistics or some report, etc. So that your introduction doesn't seem like a normal one. After that, in body, I used to write in points wise, and in those points, if possible, try to include one or two statistics or examples or case studies, if possible, in each answer. Like it is very easy to get these statistics or examples. There are multiple coaching institutes compilations, and for every topic that is there in the syllabus, just do an exercise of 2 to 3 days. Just go through previous compilations of mains. You will get the relevant reports and statistics, examples which you can quote. Just keep seeing them, then you will automatically remember them in the examination. And conclusion, what I used to do is, in most of the questions, UPSC doesn't ask us for solutions. So in those kind of questions, I used to put a side heading called way forward, and I used to give 2 to 3 solutions. Instead of giving a conclusion, like most of our conclusions will be very mechanical, because by the time we reach the conclusion stage, we will be very short of time, and we will be in that urgency of rushing into the next question. So like that conclusions would be very mechanical. So instead of that, if possible, if they are not asking for solutions directly, just put instead of putting conclusion as the side heading, put way forward and write 1 or 2 solutions. That is more than enough. That is what I have followed. If UPSC, if the question itself has asked any solutions, then just conclude, like if it is from economy, then you can write by following the above measures, we can achieve the goal of $5 trillion economy with Atmanirbhar Bharat. So stock conclusions we can prepare. It is not a very difficult task, because by the time we come to that conclusion, we will be having very less amount of time, so we don't focus much on that. So make sure that you have prepared good number of stock conclusions, so that you can reuse them in the examination. So I think this is about mains, what I have did. And I forgot to tell, my optional was anthropology. I told him, yeah. After mains, you will be having some good 2 months of time before you get mains results. So after mains result, there will be very less amount of time, around 35 to 40 days for the first interview to start. So make sure that this 20 days you are using productively. So decide upon the contents that you want to put in the DAF, your interests, co-curricular activities, extracurricular activities, sports, hobbies, etc. So decide on them. So after that, before going to mains itself, you people will fill DAF 1. So take the DAF 1 and try to write down the questions which are possible, which the panel can ask seeing your DAF 1. If you are not able to write answers also, just try to have that questions. That is what I have followed last time. So by the time the result was out, mains result was out, I was having the list of questions based on my DAF. My graduation, my work experience, my hometown, my working place, etc. So like that would ease the tension a bit, and that would be very helpful in your preparation process. After that, interview preparation is more about, 50% of preparation is done if you are thorough with your DAF. And apart from DAF, just if you are following current affairs and have some kind of opinion about controversial issues. Like for example, if we take Andhra, we had 3 capital issue and freebies. So there were a lot of issues. So if we have some opinion, then I think personality test we can sail through. I think I said what all I had to. If anyone of you have any questions, then yeah, please. If there are no questions, I'll just add a few more things. It's fine. I never used to ask any question in any of the class, so it's completely fine. One thing which I have learned from my preparation is UPSC preparation is a very difficult process. We all will agree on that. Don't isolate yourself from the world. UPSC, don't see it as like yagnam yagam kind of thing where you need to concentrate the 24 hours you need to put on that and all. So try to have people with whom you can discuss things apart from UPSC also, so that you have some venting out point, and try to have some hobby if possible. If you are in the early stages of preparation, that will be very useful in your interview stage also. Like I never had a proper hobby, so I had to write that I had interest in watching web series in my DAF because I never had any hobby. I had no other option. So if we are interested in any music or something like that, that will be very helpful in the interview stage. And one more thing is maintaining consistency is the most important thing in UPSC. So it doesn't matter if you read for even an hour or half an hour when you are not getting time on, when you are not feeling well or your mood is not good. Make sure that you read something on that day, so that you will feel you are within that preparation cycle and preparation process. And even if you need to take break also, don't take a long break, because after a long break it will take another long time to come into the preparation again. So make sure that you are in touch with the preparation some way or the other, and make sure that you make these micro plans. Like the UPSC target is a very big thing. If we keep only that in our mind as a goal or target, it is very difficult to get motivation. It is very difficult to get self-confidence. So make sure that you break down that big target into small targets. For example, what you need to complete in this 1 month, and further in this 1 week, and further if possible day wise. So at the end of each day, if you have completed the target you have allotted for yourself, then definitely that will be a moral booster for you. It will give a lot of self-confidence, and it will also ensure that our preparation is consistent, because we cannot skip the plan once we have fixed that and we have imposed that on us. So this thing I have followed to make sure that the preparation is consistent throughout. I think just focus on the process. If you are satisfied that you have given your best during the process and during the examination, then don't think much about result. If not this time, then definitely the next time you will get. If not this exam, then some other exam. If not any exam also, then definitely with the kind of personality development that we get through UPSC preparation, then definitely we can excel in some other arena of life, if not government jobs or all. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, any questions again? Yeah. Actually, it took a long time for me. From the day I started preparation, I think it took around 5 years for me. So that's one thing which has happened because of preparing along with job. One thing is that we need to sacrifice few things. For example, we will not be able to excel in the job life. So I made sure that I don't rush for that. So you need to compromise on one thing. But in my personal experience, job gives a sense of safety. So because of that only, I was able to take risks while attempting prelims examination, which made sure that I cleared prelims. So how to sustain with job? One thing, you need to have these micro plans. And in those micro plans also, make sure that during office hours also, you complete things like current affairs, etc., which doesn't need much concentration. So after coming back from the office, make sure that you don't think much about office. Make sure that you are devoting to preparation itself, and don't compare yourself with aspirants who are preparing full time. Most of the days I used to devote around 5 to 6 hours max for preparation, and only just before mains I took leave of some 2 months, and it stretched to 10 to 12 hours. So like, don't compare yourself with others. No need of over pushing yourself. Try to have that 5 to 6 hours of time, and try to utilize the gaps effectively. Wherever you are getting gaps, I used to take my handwritten notes and books to office. So whenever I am getting free time, or there is no work, etc., I used to go through them. So use your office time also for preparation effectively, and your preparation time don't use for office. And all kind of jobs doesn't support UPSC preparation. So while selecting that job also, make sure that it gives you that flexibility to include UPSC preparation into your life cycle. Any other questions? People are starting with the preparation, or anyone have you attempted already? Starting. Okay. Think we can book. I think book list is more or less the same. Many people use the same ones. Andeep Dursetti's blog is there, in which he have written detailedly about anthropology sources and also GS sources. So more or less the same ones. I think there is no need to repeat sources. If anyone has specific difficulty in any particular subject, please ask. I will try to tell. And I haven't followed any, yeah. Writing average answers for all the 20 questions. No, like just try to speak with few people who have attempted mains. Generally what happens is, one thing, time constraint will come. Around 20 to 30% of people who are writing mains will face this problem, and will try to complete around 2 to 3 questions in the last 10 minutes itself. So the quality of answers in those questions will deteriorate rapidly. Even I have spoke with a few of my batchmates and other friends who have wrote. From them I came to know the things I have did differently. And another thing is trying to write examples or statistics. And starting introduction a bit differently, linking it with current affairs or statistics or reports, so that some differentiating factor will be there, but it is not that difficult to produce. And in the conclusion also, as I have already said, without writing conclusion, I wrote some solutions. Generally, UPSC expects us to be problem solvers. So if even though they are not asking, if there is a scope of including those solutions, if we just include 1 or 2 solutions, I think that will fetch good number of marks. And I think I had this naiveness while writing answers. I haven't focused much on getting result. I just wanted to get it done with the examination, that's it. So I didn't had this burdens, expectation on myself while writing. So even if I was not entirely aware of the question, or even when I was not having sufficient number of points about a question, I was not disheartened, or I was not sad. I have just tried to put my best. Like whatever the content I was having in the 4 to 5 years of preparation, how I can better adapt to the demand of the exam, demand of the question. That thing I have did. And in GS1 paper I just seen during the last mains, 2020 GS1, in the first 10 questions I had very slight idea of around 7 to 8 questions. I perfectly knew only 2 questions. but I got comfortable marks in GS1 also. So what I have did is I have allotted same amount of time to each question. I have tried to gather the points. We would have read about that thing long back during film stage or anything. So I tried to pull them back and write something. And time management, I have tried to. I followed a simple rule that for every 15 minutes, 2 10 markers, and for every 10 minutes, 1 15 marker. If you do this way, you will complete your paper in 175 minutes. There will be 5 minutes spare that you can use for miscellaneous tasks like filling OMR, or in some question subconsciously we will take more time. So that 5 minutes buffer will be there. So this thing I have followed very strictly. So starting from question 1, I used to complete 10 markers in 7.5 minutes. Even if I had more amount of information or anything, I just used to stop that question. So this time management, maybe that would have helped. Maybe differentiating factor, I think the naiveness I had. Yeah. Don't have that over expectations, and don't access yourself during that writing process itself. That will increase difficulties. Yeah. Just one more small thing that I wanted to add is most of aspirants would be having the self-doubt, like whether we will be able to clear UPSC or not. So just I'll tell my personal experience. Just by seeing the mains question paper, I used to get fear. 2018 mains paper or 2019 mains paper, even though I was continuing with the preparation, just by looking at the mains question paper, I used to feel that I would never be able to answer these questions. So that self-doubt, lack of confidence is common to everyone. In spite of all the difficulties, all the insecurities, all the lack of confidence and all which we would be having, just make sure that you continue with the process. You stick to your you stick to your goals. I think that will lead to results. Everyone will be feeling the same thing, lack of confidence, etc. It is not you alone or we alone. So just make sure that you focus on the process. Yeah, thank you. And enjoy UPSC preparation. It is very difficult, but make sure that you don't isolate yourself, so that the process is as enjoyable as possible. Thank you, and all the best, everyone.
So we from AKS Academy and all our students would like to thank you for your time and this precise strategy and your wonderful insights about the examination. Thank you.
This video is brought to you by AKSIAS.